it's recording. So you had said that you were. So let me start this. So this is a quick. This will be a quick short video. Rich's character Ohen FIrebrand, right? Is that the name, if I
Yep,
recall?
that's the
Owen.
one. That's the one.
All right, Owen FIrebrand. After traveling and adventuring for 5 years or so, uh, has gained enough knowledge in the arcane arts and is now seasoned, which means it is time to take the test of high sorcery or to not take the test and forever beyond the run. And Rich has chosen to take the test of high sorcery.
Indeed.
Okay, and you were adventuring with, I think you had two tag-alongs, correct? You had the Kender.
Well, I was gonna go along with the Kender and then Ulrich, but then Corpse Flower decided he was gonna tag along with me for some wacky reason.
To see the magic.
And yes, even though he doesn't trust it, I'm
Right.
like, oh. So then I figured it'd be better to have us split apart rather than having four people just running around together. So I'm like, okay, well, at some point I'm going to split off because I got a message that I had to go investigate some stuff, and so I went off to investigate some stuff. And
Okay.
Corpse Flower, that way Corpse Flower can tag along with me and not disturb anybody else.
All right, the test is high source. Okay, easy enough. And I still have some plans for this recording because, well, you'll see what happens. You'll see. This will be very
Cool.
interesting. Okay, so we'll try to make this short and sweet. We're not going to do like heavy role playing or anything. We really don't have to. Really, this is a test of sorcery. It's a test on how well you know your character as being a wizard and your powers. You can use your powers more than once, of course, but you only have to really. They're just testing to see if you understand your powers. And I have things marked down that certain actions will indicate certain ethics and morals.
Cool.
And then we'll come out on the end of it and we will see what happens. All right. So, as part of your adventures, you are traveling through a glade. You camped at night, and Corpse Flower is the last companion with you. And in the morning, just as dawn is approaching, the forest vanishes from around you, and you find yourselves in the middle of a courtyard of the Tower of Wayrith, which you recognize from the image that we are currently displaying. It is technically, it has a 4-tower, which is in front of the 2 towers, and then it has the 2 different towers. And this is really the only accessible last standing tower of high sorcery. So let's start there. What other tower of high sorcery still exists in Ansalon?
Are you asking Rich Finder? Because I have no clue.
I'm asking Rich Finder and or his character. All right.
So I have no
You
clue.
have no idea. Outstanding. You studied well. All right.
I
So
didn't know I was going to be tested.
you'll be tested. We're doing old school on this. We're going to test your skill, not the player skill, not the character skill. Easy enough. Easy enough. Well, that will give you time. No, it's actually a good building for role playing wise. If your character is just not really tracking on, I assume as far as Ohen FIrebrand is concerned, there are no other towers that are in existence. However, now you have some
Yeah.
suspicions.
Let's go
Let's
there and
go with
assume that he
that.
is only aware of the Tower of Wayrith.
All right, easy enough. At the four tower, the smaller one, the doors open for you. You're greeted by 3 wizards. One white, one. Wow, that sounds horrible. One white robe, one red robe, and one black robe. Wow, we almost got this whole thing canceled. And they inform you that the time for your test has come, and your companion may venture into the tower, into the testing area, but will not accompany you during the test. The test is for you and you alone to decide your fate with magic. You have to understand that you will be tested of your knowledge of magic. You will be tested of your knowledge of the power that you wield. And you will face almost certain death at the hands of an enemy that is far superior to yourself. And you have to understand that should you quit, your fate will be decided by the conclave of wizards. Exile is not an option, and renegade at this point forward is no longer an option unless you should manage to pass the test and somehow decide to go against the edicts of the tower and the order of high wizardry. And
Okay.
death is most certainly a possibility.
Okay.
And you know this from your studies that there are tales that there are mages who have not survived their test of sorcery.
Yeah.
All right, and they also remind you that if the worst should befall you, your remains and any goods will be given to your companion, unless you have someone else you wish them to go to. And your body shall be interred either with your companions or within the deep vaults of the Tower of Wayrith.
Okay. And I would have my possessions given to a different set of companions, namely the Kender and Sir Ulrich.
All right, outstanding. So be it. With that, the Black Robe Wizard, she is an elf, and she extends her hand to you and gestures, "Walk with me, brother."
I will follow.
The White Robe Wizard nods to you, and the Red Robe Wizard simply stares at you. You are led into an older section of the Towers of Wayrith. You're getting lost very easily. You've never been in here before. All your studies were done outside the tower, and there is simply no way to prepare you for a tower that can appear anywhere at any time that it so chooses. You reach a small door, and the Black Robe Wizard opens the door, and she gestures inside a room, and when she gestures, small lamps light up in magical fire. And she looks to you, and she says, "How did I light the fire without touching a match?"
The arcane.
But how? Now, this might be a rich not understanding some of the Pathfinder.
This is this is a rich not
That's
understanding.
fine. We'll make this super easy. Do a smarts at +2.
Okay. Smarts at +2.
So you know that every wizard has access to cantrips, and they are simple tricks of magic. They require virtually no concentration. And
Yes.
she could
In fact, I used one in my last game. So
Yeah.
if that's what
Yes.
I didn't know that's what she was going
Yes,
for.
yes.
So yeah, okay.
Yep. There you go. So yes, she nods and says, "That is one way. There are other ways of channeling the energies necessary to create effects. But now is not the time for that conversation. Here, you are tasked," and as she gestures again and pushes your sight basically with a wave of her hand, you are tasked with cataloging every scroll and every tome inside this forgotten library annex, according to the manner you think best. Good luck. And with that, she slightly pushes you on the shoulder into the room with the books and the tomes.
Okay.
The door shuts and simply vanishes. Now, there are hundreds of tomes and many, many scrolls there, and the scrolls are not always they're not in the best state of being. But first, the primary task is cataloging the tomes of magic. How are you going to do that? I guess what's the most wizardly means of cataloging magic?
I would use cantrip from my havoc spell to cause them to rearrange themselves.
In any order, you just push it out.
Well, depending on what the tomes are, I mean, but yes, I would catalog them in groups. Oh. So depending on what the groups look like, you know, like if these are, incantation versus invocation,
Ah, oh,
those sorts of
what
things.
are that?
I would try to group them in there.
Right. What are that? What is that called in the realm of wizardry, especially with Pathfinder Savage Worlds? How are spells divided, or how are powers divided?
Are you talking like abjuration,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd be doing that. I can't remember. I'd have to pull the book up to see what the
Schools of
exact all
magic.
of the school. There you go. Yes.
That's it. Simple answer. So let's have an academics roll.
Crap.
I know.
That's when I was going to raise up, but I was thinking more occult. So occults is my main one.
That's all right. We're gonna visit every
Okay.
skill handy to a wizard. Are you happy with that?
Um, no, I'm not.
All right.
I'll Benny that. There
Okay.
we go with that.
So it does take time. Your Havoc cantrip does allow you to. You're looking at the books, and as you look at them, you can actually manage to just motion your arms out, and the books will kind of float effortlessly onto the shelves. You're cataloging them up, and it takes about 3 or 4 hours. It's becoming exhausting. Cantrips don't really expend any energy out of you. However, it's just, oh, this is so monotonous.
Yeah.
But as the monotony gains on you, you hear something fall from one of the shelves off to your left. The object that fell is the remains of a scroll that appears to be badly burnt and decayed. It's rough. To call it a scroll would be very generous.
I will go and take a look at it to see if I can determine what it may have been at one point.
All right. What skill would you use to try to determine the magical nature of an object?
I would assume either a cult or identification spell.
Colt will do it. Let's have that roll.
There we
Oh,
go.
fantastic. So the confluence of magic is very much with you with this. And as you're reading the scroll, you realize it was, in fact, a magical scroll. And that is significant enough where you can actually make out there is a curious hexagram still attached to part of the scroll that is still legible in your mind. And with that raise, you could easily learn what that hexagram indicates if you so choose.
Absolutely.
So the hexagram indicates the scroll is derived or was derived from the school of necromancy.
Okay.
The scroll itself, based on your occult, based on what is still written there, and based on the hexagram, seems to indicate that the Wizards of High Sorcery, at least through this scroll, at one point understood a method of resurrecting the dead. And it was tied to power of the First Age, when dragons still roamed free and the continent was still as one, and even before the reign of Istar. The hexagram appears to be the entire key to understanding how all of this energy and magic binds itself together. What do you wish to do with the scroll?
Well, it needs to be preserved. Let's see. You said it's falling apart badly, correct?
Yes.
Are there any known ways of preserving scrolls from further deterioration?
You have heard rumors that there are means of undoing scrolls or other items that were destroyed either deliberately or through their use. Um, two
Can
things.
I use?
So two things.
Um,
You don't
yeah, go
have
ahead.
you don't have you currently know you do not have access to the power to do so, but you do know the
Right.
order which does have that power. And they have the
Which
power.
order has that power?
That is the Black Robes. because this scroll, with your last raise, was not spent through casting. This scroll was deliberately destroyed.
It was deliberately destroyed.
Yes.
Is there any residual arcane energies that would indicate what type of school may have attempted to destroy it?
There do not seem to be any. Just with your you can detect magic kind of at will, right? Just a generic auras. There doesn't seem to be any residual magic that indicates any kind of school or order. However, the hexagram itself does still seem to possess some form of binding magic that you believe you could learn.
I will copy it down into my spell book.
Make a spell casting check. That is what we're using for your arcane skill, right? Spell casting?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll Benny that. There we go. Basic, anyway.
All right. So you managed to take the hexagram down into your book and you make a few notes. As you finalize your notes and close your book, the wall where the door was slides effortlessly open on hidden hinges as it recesses into the wall to the left. Immediately, somewhere down in the darkness, you can feel the presence of an arcane source, but you cannot make it out upon instinct alone.
Okay. And you said it's dark there, right?
It is.
Then I will use dark sight and walk into the. Now, I guess I suppose I should ask. At this point, have I been able to catalog all the stuff I'm supposed to have cataloged?
Yes, easily
Okay.
enough.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Didn't want to leave and not have that done. So
There you go.
I will use dark sight to enter the opening.
All right. Roll dark sight with a +2 to this roll. All right.
Man, I am rolling like crap tonight.
I know, this is making me real nervous.
Me too.
So you weave your magic, and this is the first time that I have seen you use dark sight, I believe. Maybe that's not
No, I used it in the first cave.
Okay,
Used it in the first cave.
That's right, yeah. So can you remind everyone, what does it look like when you turn dark sight on?
My eyes just kind of get a little glassy and a slight glow, even though it's not light. There is, like, my eyes do glow, like this grayish whitish light, but then everything for me is black and white at that point.
Okay, easy enough. And can I have a notice roll, please? Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I don't need that. As you finish the incantation to provide yourself with dark sight, further down in the darkness, and the darkness extends beyond your vision range, even with dark sight.
Yeah.
You can hear a slight whimpering sound, as if something is crying.
Does it sound like Meepo?
Does it sound like what?
Meepo?
No, it does not sound like Meepo.
Okay. Well, then I will proceed towards the whimpering, but I will have my staff at the ready.
Okay. As you exit the tunnel, you come upon a scene of carnage. The buildings have
Is
been lit.
the
What's that?
Yep. No, I was just going to ask if the whimpering is coming from one of the buildings, but I'll let you finish your
Yeah,
description.
it is not. The buildings have been lit afire. Smoke chokes the air and the sky, and there are signs of death and torture all around you. Bodies still smolder where they fell, and there are great shapes that ominously glide through the smoky sky. Just ahead, you see what looks like a small child cuddling up against a corpse, and all that remains of that corpse is ash and ruin.
I'll approach the child.
As you approach, the child quickly lifts its tear filled eyes. But however, this is no normal child. This is not a human. It has small elf like ears, and its hair is gathered on top of its head, reminiscent of a top knot. And the corpse at its side is not the size of the child, nor anywhere resembling the measurements of the child. It appears to be a full size humanoid creature.
And the full size humanoid creature you said has been reduced to ash.
It has, but there are subtle parts that are still whole that could be made out if examined, even from this distance.
I will
And that
take a look at that.
that requires healing.
The healing skill.
Yes, the healing skill, and
Okay.
you get a Benny for completing your initial task and investigating.
Okay, here goes my healing roll.
Here goes your untrained
Woot.
healing roll.
No, I actually have a D6 in
Oh,
healing.
nice. Oh, the corpse is the remains of an elven female.
And what of the child? Is the child truly an elf, or is the child a kender?
Common knowledge, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to Benny. I need to save those things.
All right. You're torn with some confusion. You have experience with Fritz, so it does resemble a kender. However, you've also never really seen or been close to elven children, especially if it's a Sylvanesti elf, just because of their nature and how aloof they are.
Now, quick question:
Uh-huh.
Sylvanesti are the high elves,
They're
right?
the
They're
high,
the
the snotty fucks.
in the forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in the
It-
east.
okay, so is this village in a forest-like area?
There is a forest on the outskirts of this village, but the trees are also alight.
Okay. I will kneel down and ask the child what happened here.
Are you closing to the child, or are you kneeling where you
Yeah,
are?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach the child, but I'm going to do so cautiously and in a manner that suggests I'm not a threat.
Okay. As you approach, the child whips its head back towards you and screams, telling you to stay back. You can't have her. And as a strange light begins to fill its eyes.
I will stop and put my hands up and say I'm not here for her. I'm trying to find out what happened. What caused this destruction?
The energy is beginning to build, and you can see tendrils of smoke and flame begin to coil towards the child as if they were living serpents being pulled into its body as the glow grows brighter and brighter in its eyes.
Where are the tendrils coming from?
You can feel the magic building just on a base detect magic instinct of being a wizard.
Where are the tendrils of smoke coming from?
All around, it's pulling him from the elven corpse. It's pulling him from the ground, any burning timber that's nearby. It's just being sucked into this child, and its hands are now beginning to glow. And it's beginning to
Okay.
mutter, Ansaladis Monsalade.
Man, I'm not gonna take the first shot at a child.
There are other ways. Let's do this. 5, 4, 3,
I'm gonna
2,
cast protection on myself.
1. Roll your protection spell or your power.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jesus.
Yeah, why are they all not selected with spellcasting already?
Are
Go.
they none of them tied to spellcasting?
Well, I every time I click on one, it tells me what skill do I want to use.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know. All right.
Basic, so it gives me a +2, I believe, to my toughness.
Correct. All right. It raises its hand, and arrow of flame rips from the hand, tearing through the palm, leaving behind nothing but a charred stump. And the child screams in pain, and the arrow comes streaking towards you, and it slams into your protective barrier. What does that barrier look like when it goes up?
It's a shimmering bluish light that surrounds my body.
Outstanding. And that gives you said, a +2.
2 points of armor. Yeah.
2 points of armor. What's your toughness with that armor?
With the armor, my toughness would be an 8.
An 8. All right. Oof. So that arrow slams and just dissipates. It shatters across the field of protection. The child rears its hand back and begins screaming in pain. And it looks back down to the body. And it takes a deep breath as more flame begins to pull into itself. Just behind it, 100 yards off, you hear, and the sounds are growing louder, and you can see subtle shapes breaking through the smoke.
I am going to dash past the child towards where those shapes are.
You can hear them speaking in a strange tongue.
Not an arcane tongue, though?
It is not an arcane tongue, but it is a tongue you recognize. It is Nestri. Could you please roll that?
7.
Nice. Do you know where Nestri is spoken?
I would assume Owen does, but Rich does not.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. All right. Nestri is spoken in the east, and it is not spoken amongst the more pleasant of the peoples at times. But you do understand it easily enough. And you hear one of them ask, "Can you smell the cleric?" And the one with its head bowed low points a concealed by cloth arm and points in your direction towards the child. "It is there."
How many of these shapes are there?
Right now, you can make out about 4 of them.
How are they positioned?
They're fairly close together.
And when we say Nestri, that's an ancient elven tongue.
Yes.
Okay, so quick question.
Uh-huh.
This is with this, the arrow came from behind the child's hand and ripped through the hand, correct?
The arrow came from the child. That child managed to manifest magic.
Okay. So the child shot me with an arrow.
Yes.
And these Nestri are calling that child a cleric.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay. And they do not seem what's what I'm looking for? They seem less than kind.
That's fair.
Is that okay?
There's a menace to
Uh,
their tone, yes.
okay. Then I'll let them. You can't have the child.
You know not what you speak.
And with that, I will hit them with my Arctic Blast.
Okay. Is that your
That's the blast
your
spell.
new power?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's have it. Nice. What are the effects?
Okay. This one here, in a medium burst template, which I believe is the default, right?
Yep.
Um, all of the air just starts to freeze and shards of ice jut up from the ground, but even the air itself starts to ice over, and everybody in it just like their blood starts to freeze and all that sort of stuff. So it just super cools the air right around them,
Outstanding.
and that is, I believe, 3D or 2d6 damage.
Yep.
Now, why did it not put the damage option on there for me?
I don't know. How did you? That is weird.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Are you good with that?
No.
Oh.
I guess I am.
All right. So the air freezes. You begin to see the frost start to play upon their exposed skin. However, just quickly as you summon that magic, it fades quickly. The one in the lead screams, "It's a witch!" From behind, you hear, "You do not touch my men."
That's coming from behind me.
That is coming from behind you.
I glance back.
Another flaming arrow strikes you from behind, and the child is now on its feet. And it is staring at you with two stumps. And the first hand was the right one that first fired the first arrow. It is already partially reformed. It's only missing two fingers. You shall serve her dark majesty.
Okay, time for you to go. And I will hit the child then with a firebolt.
Roll it. Nice.
That's a hit with a
That
raise.
is a hit with a raise.
And why are they not
I don't
coming
know.
up with? Are we missing some modules maybe?
Oh, I don't think so. But
All
let me
right,
check.
3d6x.
Oh,
There we go, 13.
You know what? Maybe we are missing some modules.
Because of the problems that we had with boards the other night.
Yeah. Shit. It was better rolls for Savage Worlds. Is that the one?
Something like that.
And shit. I'll just turn them all on. This may reboot this for a second.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of
But I got 13.
Yeah,
13 damage.
Outstanding. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
No worries.
There it goes. God, it's taking time. All right. And we should be back. Better rolls. Savage tool. Shit. Was it Savage Tools? I said I need to get rid of one of them. Savage Worlds Tools. Tools for Savage Worlds. Suede Tools. Whatever. It'll reboot again. Okay, anyway. The bolt goes off and it slams into the child, and there is a charred, burning, just mound of pain and torture in this child's chest. It begins to whimper and scream in pain. and you hear, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." The smoke and ash begin to clear around the child. From behind.
Okay. It's clearing from behind the child?
From behind you.
Okay.
20 points of damage against your toughness. What is that?
My toughness is currently 8 unless the spell dissipated.
Nah, you should have a few more goes with this thing. What does that put you at?
-8. That would put me at 3 wounds.
All right. This arrow
and
I will. You soak it.
I'm gonna try.
That's
Spend my
okay.
last penny on
Before
this.
you make this, shit.
Uh-huh.
Let me give you your.
No, go ahead.
Let me give you your Benny back.
Okay.
As you can feel the pain of the arrow just starting to dig into your spine. And there is a female wizard dressed in black robes, and she steps out from the smoldering remains of one of the buildings. And her glare is very intense, and she appears to be the elven wizard you originally met at the doors of the tower. Brother, use my energy and complete your task. And she holds her hand out, and you can feel a wave of energy begin to fill you. Do you accept her, Benny?
Okay, so quick question.
Yeah.
When all 3 of the wizards were there,
Mm-hmm.
they all seemed to... There didn't appear to be any animosity between them, correct?
Outside the tower, you will kill each other easily. Inside the tower, there can be no violence against a fellow wizard.
Okay. But I mean, like, the whites and the blacks and the reds in that same room, when they greeted me, there was no glaring or anything like that between anybody, correct?
No, not at all. Not
Okay.
at all. They were very happy to see you, you would say.
Then I will accept her energy.
All right. You have a free Benny for that soak roll.
Okay, and is there a soak button, I thought?
I don't think so. They probably could use it on their character sheet, but I don't think they have one.
Okay, so here comes the Benny, and here comes my soak roll.
There is the tool, it's back.
Yes. Why do my dice hate me so?
Well, this is an interesting moment.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted black robes.
True statement. And you only have one power left untested. Do you know which power that is?
I've used Bolt. I've used Dark Sight. I have used Havoc as a cantrip. I've used Protection. Mm-hmm. I have not used Aronin's Mindful Butler, which is Conjure Item, nor have I used Detect Conceal Arcana.
I thought you used... maybe you didn't use Detect Arcana. Well, you have 2 powers. All right. So, you have a critical failure.
Yeah. That means I got 3 wounds?
Yes, you have. You take 3 wounds. That arrow slams into you and brings you to your knees. The child is still writhing in pain and flipping around. Are we still good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my headphones went really weird all of a sudden. As the child is screaming in pain, it reaches a hand up, the hand that's grown back, and red hot bolts descend from the sky and erupt into the ground where the black robe wizardess was, and all that remains is a charred hole and no evidence that a wizardess ever stood there. The child flips back on its limbs and it begins to scream out in an unknown tongue that you are very much sure you have no idea what it is, but you can feel power emanating from the words.
Okay.
We'll get to that critical failure. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. I figured.
What do you want to do with this? Let's do it this way.
I
5, 4.
I want to use
3.
Aronan's mindful butler, conjure a gag, and I'm
2.
going to shove it in that kid's mouth.
Let's try that.
Okay. So that is going to be that. Okay, and now how do I? Oh, there. Uh,
Do you want to Benny that?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the wounds are getting you.
4, basic success.
All right. So, whew, and the noise stops, but the energy continues to build around the child. It's forming a shell, is what it looks like, of just pure magical energy. But it's not of a type you've ever seen before.
And it's forming around the child.
It is forming around the child and around the corpse of the elven woman.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and I hate to do it, but I gotta go knock the kid out.
So as you're trying to, you regain your feet and you are moving with great effort towards a child. The barrier itself slams into the earth around the child, encasing him and the elven corpse in this mystical energy field that appears to just dance as it grinds its way into the earth, tightening its grip on the very surface of Kryn. And there are careful shadows that begin to play across the surface of it. Little motes of light light up, grow brighter, grow dim, and little streaks of light begin to play between those motes. What do you want to do?
Does the barrier seem solid?
The barrier seems very solid, but again, it's nothing you've ever seen before. Nothing you've ever trained for has brought you to this.
Yeah.
You can feel the
Okay.
magic from just being a wizard, but it's not registering as arcane energy whatsoever.
Okay, then let's go ahead and let's I can still see the child and the corpse, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, then I am going to actually use full on havoc this time, and I want to cast it inside that barrier.
All right.
There we go. Got a 6.
Nice. That is success. So the power goes off. It bounces from that shell and rips through you and into the crowd of warriors behind you and begins to fling them in all directions. As you hear a sword drop just a foot from you as one of them was rolling up on you from behind, like any clever footpad would. But the barrier remains intact.
I'm going to turn around and see if there's anybody else behind me now, if I'm
There are
safe
still
for the
the
moment.
soldiers are gaining back to their feet. And you
Okay.
can hear the shell begin to hum And almost as if it's taking on a voice of its own, and you hear a chorus of voices begin to erupt around the shell, as if they're singing in unison, and you can feel an overwhelming sense of raw arcane energy begin to draw over the village.
Okay, hey, what the heck just happened? Are you still there?
I am, yeah. You good?
Okay. Yeah. I clicked the. Hang on, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted, and I am looking at. Okay. I am going to grab my spell book,
Okay.
and I am going to cast Slumber on the kid.
Okay.
And I'm using Slumber from Sharwin's, like
Mm-hmm.
the when I got it from Sharwin's spellbook.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to try. And I'm assuming it'd be a spell casting roll, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay, 6.
All right. Again, your power stretches out and it slams against the dome and splays across the dome and cannot penetrate what is happening there. Whatever unknown source of arcane energy that is completely defeating every power that you have. And now all of the voices that are singing from the dome surface have locked in unison. And they are growing louder. And it's becoming almost a cacophony of music. And again, you have no idea what this power is. It is not registering your senses as arcane. 5, 4.
Can I step through the barrier? I'm gonna approach the barrier and see if I can step through it.
It blocks your physical being. And it's actually very uncomfortable to be near. 2, 1. Not bad. So a wave of energy slams into you, and you can feel the pressure building inside of your ears, in your eyes, and it's starting to push you down to your knees, but you've managed to resist any of the harmful effects of it. It recedes, and the entire shell stops glowing, and for just a heartbeat, and then it begins to glow again, and you can see the motes of light start to dance along the surface, and then the small streaks of light that connect each of the different points of light begins to glow as the voices begin to search for one another in unison once again. From behind.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Detect Conceal Arcana.
Okay.
I'm gonna detect it.
Let's roll it.
See if there's another source that I need to attack. 16.
Ooh, fantastic. So this registers as pure divine magic. With that level, that raise, you are registering as divine magic. And not only that, it is registering as an ancient power that is only used by the gods themselves, according to your studies. When the gods walk the earth, that is when you see reality begin to shift. And as you look back down, the barrier is gone. The child has been thrown against a building, not 10 feet from where you stood, impaled by a burning timbers. The body of the corpse has been shattered into thousands of points of ash and ember. The village begins to fade. The wounds on your body are taking their toll on you. I need one last roll from you, and that is a 2d6 that does not explode. A 9. The world, you feel a wave of nausea begin to come over you. You're getting a little dizzy. From behind, you hear, "Rest easy, brother." And there is a hand with a red robe that puts his hand on your shoulder. Your eyes open, and you're lying in an infirmary of sorts. Corpse
Am I
Flower
still?
is
Oh, go
sitting
ahead.
across the room from you, just
Yeah,
staring at you, never saying a word, and you are being attended to by wizards of all variety of robes. Standing next to you, the black robe wizard, she stands to your left side. The white robe wizard stands to your right, and the red robe stands at the foot of the bed. The white robe begins to speak first. "Little brother, you have done commendable. However, you have been found wanting in some areas of understanding the power that you walk the face of Ansalon with. You have done well with your actions. You have made sound judgment of high morals and ethics in many cases." He stops. The red robe simply nods and moves his gaze to the black robe. She looks upon you. You seek swift retribution. You have caused death and mayhem. You have a quest for power and knowledge. Do you refute this?
Somewhat. I don't seek death and mayhem. I was seeking to protect myself, and I only attacked after I was attacked first. So I am not I do seek power. I mean, I'm a wizard, of course, but I am not seeking to cause death and mayhem.
The red robe clears his throat, and yet you attacked a child instead of binding or interceding, tackling, grappling. There are many ways that you could have played this out, but a child is dead. For that part was real. We moved you into an area that shall become unfortunately familiar to you in the coming days and months and years. But we have deemed you worthy to walk Ansalon and to bear the robes of a wizard of high sorcery. And why we do somewhat agree that you have earned a place to remain in the white robes, it is my judgment, as a follower of Lunitari and a seeker of balance in all magic, I advise you not to walk that path. But the path of the red robe is also not for you. And while the choice remains yours, should I be asked, I would advise you to don the robes of the Order of Nuitari. But now here's the bad news. Rich, I need a D6 that does not explode.
Okay.
You were told your tests can kill, and they were very close.
Yep.
Your physical strength has been taxed, and it will simply never recover. Not without true divine intervention. and that is impossible. Your strength is reduced by 1 die type for the wound that you suffered, and it's a permanent injury.
I hate the fact that I have to click on a cog to change
To
it.
add it, I know it's like, oh my god, I just want to change it. But now you have one final decision to make. What path do you walk?
Okay, so this is me wanting to make sure that I understand. They said that I could continue wearing the white.
Mm-hmm.
However, the guy in the red robes doesn't feel that that's the path for me. He feels that I'm black robe.
That's what he
Is
said.
that correct?
Yes, that's what he is. That's
Okay.
yeah. And I was just making tally marks on things going on, but that's for his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of that's what he said. He said, in his opinion, you would be better served as a black robe wizard. However, the choice is yours to make. And this is not Scott wanting to be a black robe wizard. I literally took notes of everything that was happening and was like, oh, okay, here we are. We're at a crossroads.
Well, and so here's my take.
Yeah.
I'm so what are the consequences if I decide to stay white?
None. You'll just be challenged in your morals and ethics to continue to drive home the lessons of, doing the things that a white robe wizard would do. That's all.
Okay. Then I will. I'm going to stay white, and the reason I'm saying that is from everything that Owen could tell. Now, I knew that it was divine magic. I mean, before I even cast Detect Arcane, I'm like,
of course,
everything that you're describing is this is divine, especially when they refer to him as a cleric.
Yeah.
But the impression I was getting was a demon.
Yeah.
A demon embodying that child.
Sure.
Which is why I did what I did. So that I still in Owen's heart, he still feels he was
right. You just didn't
trying to act.
You just didn't
to
check
the best of his ability.
For the wizard's point of view. You didn't check first. You acted on instinct instead of And I will tell you, it wasn't a demon inhabiting the child. It really was a child.
Child with a lot of freaking power that hurts.
Correct. And that's sort of the morals and ethics, right? How do you remove an enemy, and when does an enemy become a necessary kill? When is there's a lot that could be played into this. Is how I wanted to have it play out to see how you would respond. But it was in fact a child.
Yeah, sometimes children have to be taken out too.
And the best part is your companions get to listen to this. Well, at least one of them will.
No, that's cool. Then Owen is going to stay white.
White robe. You gotta say white robe.
I'm going to say white robe. Sorry,
my wizard's staying all white. Oh man.
And it's probably better if he stays as a white robe, because otherwise there's nothing holding him back from just taking out some of his companions. But that was fun. That was cool. That was a cool.
Did it have a
cool scenario?
Yeah, was it good? It was.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is so. It was harder than I thought to try to figure out what to do with getting all your chested and shit. It was like, oh man.
No, I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was interesting and trying to take care of everything. Like, that's cool.
So, real quick, you make your choice of white robes, and you are presented with a fresh set of white robes. They have the silver border now put on them, marking you as a wizard who has passed the test of high sorcery. They have some silvery runes here and there. And then the wizard who bore the white robes introduces himself as Alanaris, and he places a small silver raven upon the table to the side of your bed. This is a reminder to seek guidance and help at all times. Go with the blessings. We welcome you to the Order of the White. The black robe, you hear, figures. And then she leans closer to you. Oh, we'll meet again. My queen rises. And then she stands up and walks off. You now possess a silver raven, which is a figurine of wondrous power. The silver figurine is able to turn into a raven upon command, but it still remains its consistency of looking silver and feeling like it's silver and metal. It obeys your commands. It can deliver written messages, but it has no ability to speak or communicate.
Well, that's cool.
And it maintains its non-figure status for only 24 hours per week. But the duration need not be continuous.
And this is nothing that I can drag and drop onto the character sheet, correct?
I'll have to make an item.
Well, I know that Pathfinder, the Pathfinder book, seems to have a lot of
it does, but
gear in it.
I don't see it. I'm going to stop the recording, and then...
Yeah.